Okay, so we will study the original Pali first. Okay, it's under the Dhammanupassana. So we already finished the Nivarana. Nivarana is the 5 aggregates. So today we'll continue. The next one is on the Khanda, right? So this is called Panchasu. Pancha is 5. Upadana. I'll make it bigger. Okay. All right. So Panchasu Upadana, grasping, right? So upadana, we learn in actually independent origination. We also see this word upadana is translated as a clinging there, but here translate as a grasping. So kanda is aggregate. So panchasu upadana kandesu, locative case plural, refer to 5 grasping aggregates, or sometimes we can translate as a 5 aggregates of clinging. All right, Dhammesu. All right, so how do we stay with Viharati? Contemplate the Dhamma in the Dhamma. All right, so there's a direct translation. Here he translate Bhikkhu Sujato translate as a principle. But principle doesn't sound nice because principle sounds like theory or whatever. So we just translate Dhamma in the Dhamma like this. All right. So first, Ida. Now there's always with the word Ida Bhikkhave Bhikkhu. Now, here will be, first one will be lupa, form. Second one will be vedana, right? So for the lupam, form, such is the form, iti lupam. Such is the original form, iti lupasa samudayo. Such is the ending form, iti lupasa atangamo. Then repeated by iti vedanaya, because this is a feminine case, okay? Lupa is a neuter case. Samudayo, iti vedanaya atangamo, alright? So this is a feeling. After that will be iti sanya, such is perception. Iti sanyaya samudayo, such an origin of perception. Okay, iti sanyaya atangamo, the ending of perception. Now, here Sankara is a Bhikkhu Sujato translated as a choices. Iti Sankara, iti Sankaranam Samudayo, iti Sankaranam Atangamo, and then the final one will be iti Vijnanam consciousness, iti Vijnana Samudayo origin, and then the ending Atangamo. So it's 5 aggregates repeat in 3 ways for the statement will be such as this and that, and then with the origin, and then the ending. There are 3 statements here, and then this is the repeated how they should observe internally, externally, and so on. Okay, so this statement we already see many times in the Kayanupassana, Vedanupassana, and so on. So actually, from this statement is that's all very brief. Okay, that's all for this, and the commentary actually also very brief. But at least the commentary explain, right? Okay, so we will read the commentary. Okay, I think we just ask somebody to read this one first. Okay, Pui Liu, can you read this one? Up to this one.
The aggregates. Having expounded the contemplation of mental objects by way of the 5 hindrances, the master said, and further, O bhikkhus, in order to explain the contemplation of mental objects by way of the 5-fold aggregation, Panchasu Upadana Kandesu, in the mental objects of the 5 aggregates of clinging. The 5 aggregates of clinging are the groups that grasp life. The congeries of mental objects become the condition of clinging, is the meaning. This is a brief indication of these objects. For the statement about the aggregates at length, the talk on the aggregates in the path of purity should be read.
You can continue. Yeah, continue. Yes.
Iti
Iti
rupam.
rupa.
This is the material form. So far, is there material form and no further. In this way, the bhikkhu perceives material form according to nature. In regard to feeling and the things that come afterwards, the same is the method of exegesis. This is the brief indication of meaning of the matters referred to here. For the lengthy explanation on these things, one should read the talk on the aggregates in the path of purity.
Okay, thank you. All right. So this is the first explanation for this word, Panchasu Upadana Kandesu. So this is actually translated from the Pali. So it just say that this refer to the group that grabs on life, right? Because if you study, you already study dependent origination, all right? Due to the clinging, there will be bhava. Bhava means after that there will karma bhava, and then karma bhava, then the jati, jara, marana. Okay, so after clinging, then the next one will be on bhava, life already. So that's a thing that we can see this together with the dependent origination. And normally this is referred to Visuddhimagga. So remember last time we studied the Visuddhimagga, so I stopped there because it is too much theory. But if you are interested, you still have to go back to Visuddhimagga, because on the chapter aggregates, there are a very big topic there, and it gives full discussion, right? Now, we see the statement just now. The first statement, iti lupam, iti lupasa samudayo, the origin, and then the iti lupasa atangamo, the disappearance. So the first statement is always like this. Just now we go back to this one. Okay. Okay, you can see this statement like this. And then the Vedana is also like this. Why is it need to repeat this kind of statement? Like just now, iti lupam, such is the form. Okay. Iti lupam. Okay. Now the explanation is just trying to say that uh, so far is there material form and no further. All right. That's one way. One way we can interpret it. We just see the lupa material form as material form. So we should not mix with other things. That's one meaning. Another meaning that you should see it according to its nature, right? So you don't mix with the Vedana, you don't mix with the Sanya and so on. So you should see it as it is. Because in the Abhidhamma, on the first chapter, all right? So this is on the chapter number 2, on the 1 or 2, okay, on the 5 aggregates. So we are studying this one, the lupa. So when you study iti lupam or iti vedanam, iti sanyam, and so on, so you should see lupa as lupa. You don't mix with other things. That's the meaning. Or when you see lupa, then remember the chapter lupa, we have 28 lupas. So you should study their characteristic. As it is. Don't mix with others. That's the meaning here. Okay. Okay, now the second, this one. Okay, so Sister Go, you can read this one.
Iti
And,
rupasa samudayo. Thus is the arising of material form. Okay. Is this the one?
yeah.
Yeah.
Iti, this one, yes.
The arising of material form and other aggregates should be known according to the fivefold way mentioned in the section of the modes of deportment through the arising of ignorance and so forth. Iti rupasa atangamo. Thus is the disappearance of material form. The disappearance of material form and the other aggregates should be known according to the fivefold way mentioned in the section of modes of deportment through the passing away of ignorance and so forth. One should read the talk on the aggregates in the path of purity for further explanation.
Oh, okay, thank you. So
Thank you.
the main thing here mentioned is when ignorance arise, then this material form, lupa, samudayo, is arising material form through the ignorance. Okay, so when does the material form disappear? Okay, when the ignorance disappears. So if you look at it, this actually go back to dependent origination, because ignorance is the first one in the link, all right, in the 12 in the dependent origination. Okay, so if there is no ignorance, of course the lupa, because after the avijja, then there will be avijja pacha sankala, then sankala pacha vijnana pacha nama lupa, right? So we are talking about this lupa. All right. So if you can just study this together with the dependent origination, then very clear. Okay, now we already say this is have this section on mode or deportment. Let me see. Okay, yeah, it's on the top on the contemplation of body. The second part, the first one is anapanasati, and second is this one. This area pata on the different posture. So I don't know why it mentioned here, but it says that here is when people going, they should know they are going. This means that this part is on the body, all right, on the body contemplation. So iti lupam, we have to go back and study the lupa in our any posture like going, sitting, and so on. Yeah, all right. It didn't give any explanation, but it just said that we should, according to method shown in the section of modes of deportment on going, sitting, walking, standing, and sitting quietly. Because this is on the Kayanupasana. On the Kayanupasana means on the body also. Okay. So this part is on the Kayanupasana. So anyway, the main cause is arising of ignorance and so on. And after that, okay, then it will finish the statement is like somebody should contemplate internally, externally, and so on. Okay, so this is a standard phrase we see many times in the statement at the end of the Kayanupasana, Vedanupasana about we should contemplate internally, externally, and not cling to anything in the world, right? So I know it's good to read again. Melinda, you can read this one. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Saji. Iti ajatam, thus internally, in this way, the bhikkhu lives contemplating mental objects by laying hold of the fivefold aggregation of clinging amongst his own mental objects or amongst the mental objects of another, or at one time in his own and at another time in another's mental objects. The origination and dissolution of the fivefold aggregate should be brought forward and connected by way of the 50 characteristics of the five groups with the extended application of the words. From the arising of ignorance, the arising of material form comes to be. From here on, according to the method already stated by the commentator, should the exposition be. According to nature means according to the nature of breaking up, according to the nature of the eye, color, and the light in regard to material form, and according to the nature of experiencing the nature of pleasure and the light in regard to feeling. In this way, all other connected things should be interpreted. The sense
Okay.
basis. Oh,
Okay, thank you. All right, so we
Thank
stop
you.
here. All right, so this part is like I just now mentioned how we should see our five aggregates in ourselves, or sometimes we should see in other people's five aggregates. Right. Now here you're talking about 50 characteristic, right? So I'm not so sure about that. But if we have five aggregates, so each aggregate will have 50 divided by 5, so it will be 10 characteristic. 10 characteristic means it start with this one. So maybe this one may be to link with the dependent origination again, should be, because this is talking about the arising of ignorance, the arising of material form, and so on. Okay, so if we want to understand detail, then we have to study the sub-commentary, because sometimes if the commentary like this not clear, then we have to go deeper. But I think we don't have time to go to sub-commentary, and we just leave it like that. And then main thing is that what is the nature? Nature means each nature of the five aggregates. The main nature will be nature of breaking up. All right, breaking up. So this means it's on anicca. Okay, there's a normally let me mention. I think I'm not so sure how many I knew of no. Okay, normally we talk about five aggregates. Okay, like this. Okay, so five. Okay, okay. Normally nature. Okay, we call it two kind of nature. The one we call it Sabawa. Another one is Samaya. Sabawa Lakkhana means we call it the natural characteristic. Another one will be on Lakkhana. This is called general, or sometimes we use the word common characteristic, right? Now, this one, according to nature of breaking up, right? Now, nature of breaking up, we can put under this. So this refers to anicca, right? Nature characteristic, for example, like for example, the form, each rupa is subject to change, and each rupa, for example, like earth element have the nature of hardness, and the water element have their characteristic like cohesion and so on. So this is called natural characteristic. Like the natural feeling, the feeling have the nature of experiencing, okay, like this. And then perception have the nature of perceive, or we call it make a knot, like this, all right? So all the five aggregates have their own nature, but most of them have this, we call it general characteristic, means that all of them will have the nature of breaking up, okay? So when we learn the Dhamma, if we learn in this way, easier, and when you are meditating, you should see this one, all right? So after you get to know anicca, then you get to know nature of suffering, and after that, we call it the non-self. The meaning of non-self means uncontrollable, and then this one. Another meaning is not subject to what how could not belong to oneself, right? Okay, so this will explain the word nature of breaking up, all right? And also nature, its own nature. For example, the eye, the color, there is a material form. Then the nature experiencing is the feeling. Pleasure, like, dislike, or whatever is under the feeling. So all connected things means under the five aggregates, we should interpret in this way. Okay, so this statement is important for all the meditator. Okay, because if not, up to here is difficult for you to see how to make it disappear unless you contemplate on anicca. All right, so all of them will be, you have to see like iti rupam, like such is rupa and so on. Second one will be arising, okay, arising of rupa. Then the disappearance of rupa. So this is due to arising of avijja, ignorance. Okay, so we should contemplate in this way, but you cannot see this unless because ignorance already cover the mind. Okay, so how we can see the arising is only by through the characteristic. Okay, like you contemplate the earth and you see how the earth appear to your mind, and how you contemplate the feeling. When the feeling arise, then after that you understand that it's due to ignorance, and when the feeling disappear, and also due to the disappearance of ignorance. Okay, so this is not easy to contemplate, but we can contemplate this one. Yes, Brother Ko?
Okay. I have two questions. This one,
Yes.
the Sabawa Lakkhana, that means it refers to the individual natural characteristics, is it?
Yeah,
The
right.
individual lah. Oh,
Sometimes we translate with the word individual.
okay.
Sometimes we call it that's why different translation. Sa is actually sometimes we use the word to do with ourselves. Bhava is we translate the word nature. Sometimes I think they have different translation. Sometimes they call it that's another one. They call it individual essence, right? And that's another translation, I think. So that's
Intrinsic
why
nature.
yeah, intrinsic nature, right? Yes. Sometimes they have individual intrinsic nature. Okay. All right. So that is why when we learn the Pali, it's useful because when you know the Pali, even though there are different translation, you don't get confused. Anyway, there's only two, right? Ultimately, you contemplate anything when you especially you see their own nature. So in meditation, you really have to go to this level first before you go to this level. This level will come later, right? So in the Vipassana Jnana, the first one will be Nama Rupa Paricheda Jnana. So you have to see the Rupa as it is. Then after that, you try to see the cause and effect. After that, you go to the Samasana, the third Vipassana Jnana is trying to see the Anicca Dukkha Anatta. Okay? All right.
Okay.
If no question,
So
I will
then second
continue.
question I would like to
Yes.
ask is
Okay. Right. Yes.
how do we distinguish the disappearance of rupa due to the disappearance of ignorance, and the other one is the nature of rupa that it will cease by itself once the conditions is normal there.
How do we distinguish?
The first,
I
the
mean,
disappearance of
yeah.
rupa because of
Yeah.
disappearance of ignorance. That's one.
Yes. Yes.
Then the second
Yes.
one is by nature itself, rupa will also be anicca. That means they will also disappear after its
Yes.
arising. So how do we
Yes.
differentiate the two?
How do we differentiate the disappear or rupa and disappearance or ignorance? Is it?
Yes, yes. In a way,
Okay. Yeah. So far, we cannot because our mind, you know, when we study Abhidhamma, the ignorance is always there until finally at the arhan stage where the ignorance will totally disappear. All right. Before that, the ignorance is always at the back of the mind. So we at the normal stage, normally we will not be able to see this one. Okay. But at first we can do inference like this. Okay. We like now we learn the theory. When the rupa disappear, then because of ignorance disappear. So we call it by inference way. So we get to know the truth like this. But when your jnana, vipassana jnana is very strong, one day your wisdom is strong that it be able to cut off the ignorance. Okay, but of course not totally cut out. Totally cut out will definitely at the arhan stage. So you need to use wisdom to cut off the. Okay, so method will be through mindfulness, of course, and all the five faculties, and especially the wisdom and so on. All right, Brother Ko?
so initially it will be more of a conceptual understanding.
Yes. Now, what we learn so far is this part will be more conceptual, definitely. Okay. But according to the formula, that's why the teaching are taught by the Buddha for people. Remember, the Buddha preached this Satipaṭṭhāna at the guru place where people are having good body, good weather, so they'll be able to appreciate the Satipaṭṭhāna to its fullest. So they'll be able to appreciate the Dhamma like this. And after that, this is what Buddha preach, and then the commentary will tell us more. But remember, the commentary also get the information from the Tipitaka also. All right. Okay. All right. If not, I continue this one. Okay. Now sense basis. Okay. Now let's go back to the Mahasatipada Sutta. So actually, it's interesting. Really got people, they try to memorize the whole Bali, And if you go to online, like YouTube, you can notice there are few chanting like this. Some of the monks, they chant very beautifully. All right, now 4.3, sense, Dhammanupassana. Okay. You have to, Puna chaparam bikawe biku damesu Dhammanupasi viharati chasu. 6. Ajatika Bahira, right? Ajatika is internal, Bahira, external. So here translate interior and external sense field, right? So we go for the Lupa. This one we finished already. There's another, remember in the Lupa chapter, we have, okay, right. So here, so this is called internal. So Aja Tika, so internal. So this called Bahira, okay? Bahira. So external. So it asks us to contemplate the 6 of them, internal, external. So why we call it internal? In a sense, because it's inside the body. That's one way to interpret. Another way is that we normally cling this thing to as I and mine. So that's why we call it internally. All right. So Ajatika Bahira, so internal, external, Ayatana basis. Now, so the Buddha will always like this. He made a statement like this, right? After that, he start with the question, and how does a monk, a bhikkhu, a mendicant meditate? So there's always a Q&A. Sometimes the Buddha asks a question or make a statement, ask a question, because the purpose of asking a question to himself or to the audience is to make the audience interested. Okay, now we start already. I, sight, and also factor that arises depend on the both of them. So they understand how the factor that has not arisen comes to arise, how the arisen factor comes to be abandoned, and how the abandoned factor comes not to arise again. All right. Okay, now. So in Pali, very easy. So the Pajanati is no. So they should know Chakku, eye, visible sound, rupa, and dependent on them, samyojana. So factors is called samyojana in Pali, right? So it's good to know, because when you study Abhidhamma, definitely one of the chapter will be different classification on the samyojana. Okay, so we just copy this for a while. So after this, there will be ear, sound, factors, nose, smell, tongue, taste, body touches. So the Pali actually quite same. And then mind is a mana, ideas is dhamma. Dhamma here, beside the word dhamma teaching. So dhamma here means many things, those objects that can be taken by the mind. Right? So we just copy this text. Okay, now 6 sense bases. Okay. So first eyesight. So you can see here, the statement is like this. So there will be so this will be internal, sight will be external, and then factor will be, we call it the defilement, or sometimes we use the word samyojana. So how factor not arise come to arise, how the horizon to be abandoned and the abandon not come to gain, right? So if you look at it, actually, it seems to be, we have contemplate how many things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. First, internal, external, and the defilement, samyojana, factors. And about the factor, you have to contemplate 3 ways. Okay. How it will come to arise. And for those arisen, how somebody can abandon it, and how the abandoned one will never arise in the future. All right. 3 ways. So we look at the, okay, now you notice the Pali will be same all the way to, I will not repeat because I think you all should be, and it will be same like this: eye, ear, nose, tongue, mind, and then the whispers, objects, sound, smell, taste, and so on, right? So exactly these 2. Maybe I just copy these 2 lines. Okay, and so on. Okay, so this one we already see. That's why one thing about learn Abhidhamma is good because when you read the sutta like this or commentary like this, your mind can pick up faster because you already know the classification. So you can see the idea of the commentators, they are trying to explain about internal, external, and factors. And after that, there will be followed by the statement, same like they meditate, contemplate internally, externally, and all the way until there's only the Dhamma, and for the mindfulness, and all the way until there's no clinging to anything in the world. So this statement is always repeated many times in the Pali and translation. Okay, after that, it finished already. So let's look at the commentary. Okay, so okay, somebody read. All right. Next person. Okay, Sister Wira.
Good evening, Saiji.
Yeah, good evening.
The sense basis. After explaining the contemplations of mental objects by way of the aggregates, the master said, and further, O bhikkhus, in order to explain the contemplations of mental objects by way of the sense basis, Chattu ajatika bahiresu ayatanesu. Sorry. In the mental object of the six internal and the six external sense bases, the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, and the mind are the six internal sense bases and material form. And material form, mind, smell, taste, textile object, and mental objects are the six external sense bases. Chakkum pajanati. He understands the eye. He understands the sensory apparatus of the eye by way of its own distinct function and salient characteristic. Rupe pajanati. He understands material form objects that are visible. He understands material form arising from the four producers of corporeality, namely karma, consciousness, climate, and nutriment, kama, citta, utu, ahara, by way of their own distinctive function and salient characteristic.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we stop here. All right. Okay. Now this one I mentioned already. So first one, he should understand the internal and also six internal and six external, internal external base. So this one already. Right. And for example, understand the eye. What's the meaning of eye? He should understand this one. Distinct function. All right. Function of eye is to see. That definitely, right? Ear is to hear. And any characteristic. So when you refer to the Abhidhamma, you can study the Chakku in detail, right? Or you can refer to Visuddhimagga. Also got information. Now, Lupa, right? So Lupa is a general term for any material form. It can be visible object, okay, but it can be just referred to the like Nama Lupa, because Lupa here, if you are talking about Kama, Citta, Utu, Ahara, remember the Lupa chapter, we have four causes. So four causes is causing the material form to arise. So this one. So this is the Kama, Citta, Utu, Ahara. Karma, consciousness, climate, and then nutriment by their distinct function, right? And then salient characteristic. So this is normally referred to their own characteristic. And after that, now we will study about factors about the samyojana. This is quite long here, so refer to somebody who want to read for long. Okay. Subang, you can read this one. Yes.
Yeah,
Up
thank
to
you.
here. All right. Yes.
Thank you, Chaji. Yang tadu bayang paticca upajati samyojanam. The factor that arises depending on both eye and forms, he understands according to distinct function and characteristic. The tenfold factor that arises dependent on both eye and forms. The tenfold fetters of sense desire, resentment, pride, speculative theory, doubt, belief in rites and ceremonies, the desire to go on existing, envy, avarice, and ignorance. How does this tenfold fettering arise? Asks one. The fetter of sensuality arises for him who, by way of sensuous enjoyment, takes delight in a pleasant sense object, become visible at the eye door. For him, he who is annoyed or angry at the sight of an unpleasant object, the fetter of resentment arises, and the fetter of pride arises in him who thinks, no one but me is able to consider the object wisely. The fetter of speculative theory comes to be in him who takes material form to be permanent and everlasting. The fetter of doubt arises in him who thinks in this way. Is the material form a being or a beings? The fetter of the desire to go on existing arises in him who wishes thus. To be sure, in a favorable state of existence, this material form will become easy of access. The fetter of rites and ceremony arises in him who undertakes to perform rites and ceremonies thinking, in the future, it will be possible to obtain such an object as this by taking up the observance of rites and ceremonies. The fetter of envy arises in him who contemplates grudgingly. Should no others get this material form, it will be good indeed. The fetter of avarice arises in one who stings for another the material form belonging to one.
Okay, thank you. All right. Now, these are 10 kind of fetters. All right. Now, this one I get from this is Abhidhamma list of fetters. Actually, there are two ways of fetters. One way is Abhidhamma way, another one is according to the Sutanda way. So just now the one that mentioned 10 of them, so I put here the Pali and English so easier. Because if we look at the English, they have different way of translation of English, so better look at Pali. So the first one, sensual lust. All right. The first one I already mentioned, when you look at something, you like it, you take delight in a pleasant object. Okay, so you have this sensual lust. Angry is when you are annoyed at unpleasant thing. All right, so this is due to uh, pleasant object. So like you see somebody thinks somebody made you angry, or something unpleasant happened today, so anger. Then conceit, then there's a view, right? What kind of view? Now this view, dictate, remember we say wrong view. Dictate always we can translate with the word wrong view. So this refer to normally is a Sakaya ditti, right? Okay, so here translate with the word speculative theory. So he takes things to be permanent and everlasting. All right. So wrong view, there are a few ways to see. One way is cling to self. Another way, take as a permanent. Take things as permanent. And then doubts is any doubts. All right. Then the next one, desire to go on existing. So it's like want to reborn in another existence. Right. So this one. So that's why it's called bhavaraga. So here translate as lust for existence. So it's kind of like liking with the idea of he want to born again. So later I explain all this 1, 2, 3. Right. So next one will be rights and ritual. All right. So this one will be the Pali word silabata paramasa. Clinging to any wrong practice like behave like dogs and cow, believe that by sacrifice animal they were born in heavenly plane and so on. So this is the one. Right. Envy is just an envy. Avarice, all right? So there will be envy. So different translation, jealousy, or another word, envy. So you already see all these are cetasika. So greed is not a good word. So the best is avarice. Sometimes we use the word stinginess. So we see all these are to do with the dosa cetasika, right? And this one we see all these are cetasika. So when you study cetasika, you see already is actually some of them bad cetasika is the under the samyojana. So 10 of them. Okay. Okay, now we have to see in three ways. How they arise, how they are abandoned, and how they will not arise in the future. So these sentences explain the Pali words. Okay, so next person. So it's good to read the commentary because we will see how the commentator they think. Okay, Sister Lee Guat Ngo, you can read. Yeah.
Okay. Yatacha, is it?
Yes, yes.
Yatacha anu panasas samyo janasas upado hoti tancha pajanati. He understands how the arising of the non-arisen tenfold factor comes to him. He understands that the tenfold factors that has not arisen earlier owing to some cause of non-occurrence. Yaktacha upanasas samyojanasas pahanam hoti tancha pajanati. He understands how the abandoning of the arisen tenfold factor comes to be. He understands the reason of the abandoning of the just the tenfold factors arisen through previous non-abandoning or through occurrence. Yaktacha pahinasas samojanasas ayatim anupado hoti tancha pajanati. He understands how the non-arising of the future of the abandoned tenfold factors comes to be. He understands the reason of the non-arising of the future of even the tenfold factor abandoned by the way of rejection of separate factors through right reflection, tanda gawasana, and through absorption, vikam bhava wasena.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, thank you. Now these two, all right? So the first one is how it arises and how to abandon and not to arise. So this is the method. So this one, I think if anybody study Vipassana, so right reflection, actually Tadanga. Tadanga, another meaning is we call it, actually it's two words, right? Literally it's two words like tam and anga. Anga is that part. So we call it, sometimes we call it substitution. So means that you substitute it with something, or we call it, sometimes it's called temporary also. Another one, absorption. So this is to do with the jhana. So this more on the vipassana. So we can use vipassana or jhana to reduce the factors and ultimately cut it off with the this different path, right? So temporary, because use vipassana is can do it temporarily and permanently at the magga side. Okay, so either vipassana or jhana. So vipassana use the Pali word is tadanga, and then jhana will be vikambana. Vikambana actually is actually this association not good. Sometimes it's a suppression. So this is a different translation, all right? Now, which path factors will reduce it? So it's actually quite interesting here because now here we start to see, we say how for this thing not to arise again in the future. So this part actually, especially when you study Abhidhamma, is very useful. Okay, right. So basically, I think we can skip it, but basically I write 1, 2, 3 here. It's just to show you that wrong view, doubts, and then the where is it now? Okay. So the path of stream winner is the first stage. So it will reduce the 5 factors. All right. So doubts. This is a wrong view. Doubts, right enrichers, envy is jealousy, and stinginess. Okay. So I put one here. So wrong view, doubts, attachment to rights enricher, and then the jealousy, and then the avarice or stinginess. So this will be terminated by the first path, right? And then the ones returning second path, it will reduce the gross resentment, and then so on. Okay. There will be third path. All right. Okay, there will be one. Anyway, I just put the number here. So second one will be on this sensual lust and anger, reduce the gross one. Then the third path, anagami, will be subtle, sensual lust and anger. And finally, at the arahant, then the mana, conceit, and then the bhava, because arahant will have no more lust for existence, and arahant will finally terminated the avijja, right? So just some understanding here. Okay, I think this is a better one because this one I copy from the internet is actually clearer. So first stage glows by second stage, third one by third stage, and then okay, right. So all these are different stages of path will eradicate different types of factors, samyojana. Finally, arahant will eradicate the mana, conceit, and then the bhava raga, lust for existence, and avijja. So only at the avijja, everything will be terminated, right? So you can get some information from the wiki. Okay, so it's okay. We cannot contemplate on this, but we should know that which path factor should link to which path link should terminate which factors. Right. So and so on from the ear and sound and so on. So internal and external, so the same already. Okay. Now. All right. So you can see here, you mentioned about the six sense bases are determined by sense door and sense object by the sixfold consciousness or the consciousness and mind aggregates. All right. So I base on the door, my this one. Right. Okay. So there's also another word mana. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it's not important. Okay. Let's one thing about here. So this part is much more. You can see here decisive support. So it's a upanidisa. Upanidisa. We study patana. So here already mentioned some patana. So I, by the way of decisive support and material form object, become the condition by the way objective predominant. So is the adipati is the predominant. Objective will be the aramana adipati. And then there will be aramana upanisaya, right? So you can see the Pali here, they put here. Caku upanisaya pachaya. So caku upanisaya, then there will be aramana adipati, aramana upanisaya. So here by the commentator, by the commentary, inside the commentary, there's actually mention of Abhidhamma point and the Patana here. But this one we difficult to meditate, all right? So far, which one we can meditate? All right, so far it mentioned about the factors. But the one we still able to meditate will be just trying to see the internal, external, and how when they appear, the factors might come, you know, eye, ear, nose, tongue, sight, sound, smell, and so on, and the factors. And the commentator just now give lots of information on the factors. But our practice will be more on this Okay. So when you see something, be aware of how the factors will arise. Like just now, when you see something beautiful, sight, then the last will appear. When you see something ugly sight, then the anger, patika will appear and so on. All right. So I think we already 1 hour. So the next one will be on the awakening factors. All right. I think maybe we leave it for next week. Yeah, it's actually quite long for here. Yeah, Brother Ko.
Actually, just now on the Sotapana, Sotapatti,
Mm.
can you go
Yeah.
back just the Sotapatti on the pattern? Your note, based on your notes, the words format.
Okay.
Okay. You further down, further down. Okay, enough. Oh, up a bit. The commentary mentioned that one, the view,
Yeah, right.
jealousy, and greed are thrown off at the stage of Sotapatti,
Mm-hmm.
first stage of awakening. But jealousy jealousy, I'm not too sure, but greed is not totally thrown off because mana is still there, and mana is part of
No,
greed
this script is a Machaliya.
or macharya.
Yeah. Sometimes just now
Stinginess,
you see the translation. Yeah, because greed, not the loba, of course.
okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I also got
So
confused last time
yeah,
also. Uh,
yeah. Because this is why is confused because of different translation. So jealousy Isa and then this normally
Isa
Isa and
macharya.
Machariya is together.
Okay.
So jealousy or stinginess.
Okay.
Okay.
Then
View
is
will be the wrong view. Okay. Then doubt will be doubt. Attachment to rights and ritual will be this Silabata Paramasa.
but the view
Right?
is more of the Sakaya deity view, the permanent
Yeah.
soul.
Right. Yes.
Because
Okay. Sakaya Diti
ignorance
is also
view. Oh,
yeah, you can put the word Sakaya Diti.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Wrong view on sometimes we use the word we call it how is it? Personality belief. Right? Actually there are many types of wrong view. So this is just one of them. There are many. According to the Brahmajala, there are 62 wrong view. Okay. Now,
Because some I
this
think
just
they
now
put
the this is a different way of factors you can find in the Abhidhamma in the page 111 fundamental Abhidhamma. So this according to Sutanta, different way they organize. So according to Sutanta method, you don't see the jealousy and then the Machariya. Okay, it's divided to Kama, Lupa, Alupa according to the world. Okay, but according to Abhidhamma, like just now, there will be Isamacharya. So it should just now the statement should follow this one, right? Isamacharya, the according to Abhidhamma way. Okay, Brother Ko?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, because this way is better because it linked with the we call it the practice how according to by this Abhidhamma way, then we can see which stage, first stage, second stage, or third stage, or fourth stage, and which factors that they're able to eradicate it, all right, to eradicate. So this is a better way according to Abhidhamma. Sutanta way more on the world, Kama, Lupa, Alupa. All right, I think that's enough. So today 1 hour, so I wish to spend another half an hour. We do practice together. So today we cover on the six sense basis and object. So one way to contemplate is instead of like just not your abdomen rising, falling, or not the breathing meditation, you can just sometimes we can open the mind. In a way, you open the mind and we call it six sense based contemplation. You let the sound, smell, taste, you let the objects coming from the outside, let them come inside your mind, your sense bases, and see how it affect them. For example, when you hear a pleasant sound, you see how your mind like it, right? When you hear an unpleasant sound, you see your mind don't like it. When you think about something happy, okay, then you should see how it affect your subsequent mind. And when you think about something not happy, it's not actually in meditation time, it's better don't use the word I think about this, I think about that, I hear the sound. Just drop the word I or my, right? So you just notice, we call it the object, the sound, the smell, the thoughts. So you should just contemplate the thoughts as thought, even though it's a good thought, bad thoughts. At least you should know thoughts as thoughts and see how the thoughts can make the factors samyojana come out. Like just now we see all these factors. Like, so when pleasant object, there will be essential lust. When unpleasant object, there will be anger. So sometimes you think about that, there will be conceit, oh yes, I can do it, and so on, right? And sometimes when you practice, you have doubts about yourself, right? And then sometimes you might have jealous and then stinginess and so on, right? So we should, sometimes we can just, I say, we can open your mind to contemplate the six sense bases. That's one way to meditate. Another way is, if you want to contemplate our five aggregates, the rupa, vedanas, and then sanya, sankhara, right? So you should just contemplate them as they are. Try to see their natural characteristic, right? So because we had 28 rupas, so it's not good just focus 28, they are too much. So you can just focus on few that's obvious, like breathing, air element, hardness of the body, or you focus on the good feeling in the body, right? And try to see everything will link to the anicca dukkha anatta. Okay, so we can just do half an hour practice before we do the sharing minutes. Yes, Brother Ko?
I have two questions on this meditation. One
Ah,
is, you see, when we make notes on what is going on in the mind, that means we
mm-hmm.
label, right, or something like take note, right?
Yeah.
Then it becomes very monotonous. It becomes very boring. So how do we inspire our mind to actually continue on?
Okay, when the mind get bored, you should contemplate
Stop
that
the
boring
boring.
mind. Yeah, that boring mind is also a fact enemy,
But it becomes very, I mean, it
very
becomes
boring.
worse. It becomes worse.
Okay. No, that's why I remember last time I said when we start to meditate, we always should make some aspiration. Aspiration. So before you meditate, let's say now later we're going to do half an hour meditation. So you should sit down and just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to dedicate half an hour to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So you should focus, okay, just give half an hour to the higher purpose or spiritual purpose. So even this half an hour, no matter the mind is so boring, so restless or whatever, so you just have to know that even the boring mind, you just hold it and just contemplate how boring can it be. Or if you are very boring, you just should, maybe sometime we can investigate why. Why do you feel bored? You can question yourselves. All right. Okay, so
Okay,
if
I
no
will
question, we
try.
do.
Then the
Yes, all
second
right.
question is,
Yes.
the second question is, because you see, if our concentration is not strong, it's more of a casual concentration. How are we
Okay.
able to look at the intrinsic nature of the, for example, the rupa itself? I mean, in the
Okay. All right. So sometimes we do it like Mahasi method, we do labeling. The purpose of labeling is try to block the other thoughts coming in. For example, if you not the body heaviness or not the earth element, so you just mention yourself, earth, 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 then heavy, 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 light, light, light. You purpose label it. So in this way, it helps to guide the mind into more deeper concentration. Okay. All right.
Okay, I'll try, but I did try that one, but then it seems
Yeah.
not working.
No, you just, like I say, just think about it, like set a timing. Okay, I dedicate half an hour to Buddha Dhamma Sangha. So it go beyond your Sakaya Ditti. Understand?
Okay, I'll try.
All right, okay. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
we start half an hour meditation. So let's do. Okay, so just now to do with the brother core questions. Another way to deal with boredom is you can just go deeper. For example, if you feel boring, like just like I say, you can consider why you feel boring. So we call it contemplation of mind. It's like mind watching the mind. So you go deeper. Let's say you're boring, then you notice that because you're not interested in the object, then maybe you change to another object. Let's say if you're not the body, you're not interested in your body, so you're not the sound. So if you're not interested in the sound, you're not the feeling, not something that your mind will be interested. So finally, if you change many objects in the Namarupa, you decided your mind still not boring, then you just have to focus on the boredom and watch it until it disappear. So when you watch it until it disappears, so next time you are not afraid of it because you know it's just a phenomenon. It's just something not real in a way. Because even boredom, if you have strong mindfulness, it will disappear also. Okay, Brother Ko?
Yes,
Okay.
I did try, but somehow just keep on skipping. Finally,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm aware or I'm just thinking.
Yeah. So if you have so much thoughts, then you also have to note the thoughts also. Okay, so we will just share the merits together, all right? Etawata ja amhehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe dewa sabbe buddha sabbe sata anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya idam no yatina hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idam no yatina hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idam no yatina hotu sukita hontu nyatayo Akasata cha bhummata dewa naga mahitika punyantam anumoditva chidarakantu sasanam Akasata cha bhummata dewa naga mahitika punyantam anumoditva chidarakantu desanam Akasata cha bhummata dewa naga mahitika punyantam anumoditva chirarakantu mamparamti. Arurarogya sampati saga sampati mevacha adonipana sampati imena te samijatu Devo vasatu kayena sasa sampati hotu cha pito bhavatu loko cha raja bhavatu dhammiko adahimaya patipadaya jaramaranam ha parimuchisami idam me punyam asawakaya waham hotu idam me punyam nibbanasa pacayo hotu idam me silam magapalanyana sa pacayo hotu Imina punya kamina mame pala samagamo satan samagamo hotu yawani patiya Buddha sasanam chiram titatu Buddha sasanam chiram titatu Buddha sasanam chiram titatu Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, thank you for joining this session. I hope you enjoy learning the commentary. Learn something. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
Thanks,
Saji.
Saji.
Thank you,
Very
Saji.
good.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much.
Sayaji.
Bye.
Sadhu,
Thomas, you want to
sadhu,
chant next week?
sadhu.
This week,
Take
Thomas.
care, everybody.
You coming on Friday, right? Okay. I send the things to you so you can practice yourself first, okay?
Muted.
Cannot hear you yet.
Thank you, Sanji.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
it's okay. I can try.
okay.
It's okay.
Now
will.
you feel confidence.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
not so
Thank
difficult.
you.
All the students are trying. All right. I send the PDF out. You can practice by your own. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Saji.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. You perform quite okay in your test. No problem.
Ah, good to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think most of students is okay. Only I think the question on karma, and sometimes they don't get the calculation right for the somanasa feeling. Yeah, the rest is
Mhm.
actually quite okay.